All righty, we are live, Buff Nation, this time on a Friday, and we got a very big test coming up against the Utah Utes coming off the bye week. I am joined by Russ. I'm glad we were able to make at least a Friday show work. But how's this week been going for you, man? How are you feeling heading into this matchup tomorrow?
Feeling pretty good. We'll see what happens. We're going in as the quote unquote underdogs. I feel like the pressure really isn't on us. I mean, Utah's at a place where it's going to be really important because you have the BYU
Oh,
loss
hold on,
last year.
Russ.
Yep.
I didn't go live.
Oops.
We'll start over again. I don't know what happened there. It was weird. Oh, okay. Now it says we're live. There must have been some sort of weird thing. Everything's coming in now. So we're here. We're here with Buff Blitz. I don't know if any of the other stuff happened, but Russ, how are you doing this week? How are you feeling? We'll just take it from the top.
I'm feeling pretty good. I think see you this week. I mean, the pressure's on, but also the pressure's off. I think Utah has more of the pressure because of the loss to BYU last week, and next week they're having to play Cincinnati, which is not an easy game anymore. So they are under a lot of pressure to at least win this week, not rail off 3 straight losses. Wouldn't be great for their season and what is going on. Could really turn around their season overall. So yeah, I absolutely think CU has a chance this week. I think one of the toughest parts of this this matchup is going into Utah. It is probably one of the toughest places to play in the entire Big 12. So that's something you guys have to factor in when we're looking at this matchup. But overall, I'm liking where we're at. Everything I've seen from the Utah football team says beatable if we get a specific type of Caden Salter for tomorrow night's game. And I think that's going to be the biggest if when it comes to this matchup and what could happen tomorrow.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that he's obviously the X factor. I think that when you look at this Utah team, they score a lot more than maybe they did over the past couple of years or so. I think they're averaging close to 37 points a game, one of the best offenses in the Big 12. They run the ball really well. I don't really feel like they asked Dampier to do anything like too crazy. I feel like honestly, I don't really feel like there's much of a difference caliber-wise between these two quarterbacks, but Dampier's done a good job of kind of playing his role and also being a big threat on the ground with his legs. I think he's still one of the top rushers with Utah. But there's one thing that I thought was kind of interesting going through the numbers, Russ, is that maybe this is because Utah has played with a handful of leads throughout this season, but they are giving up 150 rushing yards per game. I think that if we're able to run the ball effectively, and not turn the ball over, not giving them extra possessions, I think that we could have the opportunity to make a nice little upset there in the second half. The one thing is that coming back from behind against this team, I'm not necessarily feeling great about. Like if we're down 2 scores or something like that, I think they got one of the top pass defenses in the Big 12. I think they're I got it pulled up here. It's like 100. How much passing yards are they giving up? 155 passing yards a game, and that's just insane, man. So I think it's going to be important for us to keep this close, so that we're not just slinging the ball the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I see that, but I mean, from everything I've watched from Utah, they are beatable. I think the BYU game really showed what was capable against Utah as I felt Bachmeier had a pretty decent game against them, maybe not yardage wise, but just, efficiency wise and what they're able to do. We can definitely take a page from that. I love the fact that we're coming off of a bye. We've got an extra week of preparation against Utah. Colorado better have used that effectively to game plan for this game. And so that I think is playing into this again with Utah coming off such a big game against BYU and losing, I just have to wonder how much that's going to factor in as well. But yeah, I mean, can Caden Salter pass against this team? Can he pass against this team? Mind you, when he needs to. I think the Iowa State game shows us who this team is, Dave. We are going to run the ball probably 55 to 60% of the time. We're going to throw the ball, 45 to 40% of the time. And that needs to be the efficiency that Colorado has against Utah to be successful. And then when it comes to the offense, Dave, or the defense, it's the continue the bend but do not break mentality of this Colorado defense. We found out what they are really. They're going to give up yards, yes, but they do not give up points every single drive. And that is a big difference maker for this defense against Utah. And depending on who we see play, Dampier is in the questionable, which, is always trending towards playing. But Dave, if I'm Utah, why play Devin Dampier in this game? Like, if he gets hurt worse this game, he's not playing against Cincinnati next week, and that's an even bigger loss for them. He could be out a lot longer if they decide to play him early. I mean, Dave, he was literally like in a giant boot while he was playing in that game last year. You take a look at some of the clips of him, they taped on a massive, clubbed boot on his foot. And if his number one, thing that he is good at is running the ball, having an injured quarterback who can't run the ball with a limp leg is not going to spell good things for Utah, both this week and next week. Give him a week off. Let him rest up. Let him heal that ankle. Don't force him to go into this game against Colorado if you think you can beat us. And that's where I think it's at. But if they play Devin Dampier, I actually like our chances now just because of that injury and where he's at. If he can limit his athletic ability, that is going to help CU massively in this matchup.
I love that you're bringing this up because, let's say Utah does decide to rest Devin Dampier for this matchup. Might it be the Isaac Wilson show? We saw Isaac Wilson last year. According to our lads, they have Isaac Wilson as the third string quarterback. They got freshman Bird Thicklin as the number 2 quarterback. It doesn't seem like he's played much at all. He's 9 of 9 for 138 yards and a touchdown. Oh shoot. I don't know if there'll be much difference there, but 6'1". I know nothing about him, but I'll always take a backup quarterback over the starting quarterback for sure. And if I think that this is a big test with, Chidozie came in earlier this week, had some strong words for the team, but I want to hear what you have to say about that, what you think about that. But if this team is able to match and punch back, because Utah is going to be physical, who's to say? Who's to say they're not like, man, maybe we do play it a little bit safe here with Dampier if we put him out there, just in terms of what we're calling for him, in terms of running plays and things like that. Maybe we see them kind of get out of their norm a little bit. If Colorado is aggressive enough on defense. But that's a big question. Chidozie had some harsh words for the team on, I think it was Monday. What did you make of all that?
I mean, he's not wrong, Dave. We've talked about it all season. I mean, what is the biggest issue that this team has right now? It's a lack of leadership. It's a lack of playmaking ability from the older players on this team. He called out a number of players just generally with his statements, calling them lazy. And I think he's absolutely right. We've talked about it all season long. And when you look at this team right now, the number 1 performing players in this team are all of your freshmen and sophomores. The junior and seniors are struggling on a regular basis. There's no consistency. There's no accountability. And it starts from the top. I mean, it was 100% correct. They need to hear it. The fact that a guy who just left this program is having to do that just kind of shows me where this team is as far as the players they've brought in that are older. It makes me mad about this year's team Versus Dave, I mean, I'm very, very optimistic about the future of this program and where it's going because of who you see, showing up and showing out. I mean, Chidoze's calling out those older guys is really what he's doing by saying, like, look, you're getting outplayed by the freshmen and sophomores. You guys are lazy. You're not taking this seriously. All of that stuff. And so he absolutely was right in everything that he said. And hopefully it wakes these guys up. I'm not so sure. I mean, hearing that this is like the first time in Coach Prime's era that after a bye week, so many people, quote unquote, were late coming back to this team, again, just shows a continuation of this leadership not being where it needs to be, and the players not being able to hold each other accountable in the way they need to.
Yeah, let's talk about this a little bit more because, yeah, we've talked about it all season, the lack of leadership. And I think that it really shows when Coach Prime is talking about, hey, there might not be some guys that you see play in this game because we asked everybody to get back on Sunday. They're not getting back on Sunday. I don't know. I don't know whether these are like young people, or I guess I'm starting to get to that age where I'm not necessarily young according to some, right? Like, dude, I don't even know, but in terms of like establishing a winning culture, I mean, this is just normal. Like, if anybody is mad or upset at Coach Prime for drawing a line, we're a losing football team right now. We're a 3-4 football team right now. Only once you start to provide accountability do you normally then see things change in terms of correcting the bad habits, developing the right habits that then turn into winning football. I don't know what else you would want a coach to do. We've talked about how this team is undisciplined and they lack leadership. So then when you hear about the coaching staff and Coach Prime drawing a line for some, I don't know how you can be upset at that, but I'm curious what you think on and if you want to speculate, if you want to go dark side, who we might not see tomorrow. Like, what are your thoughts on all that, man?
I mean, I don't think we truly know just yet. I mean, we'll find out tomorrow. My guess is we're going to get a lot of people questioning why so-and-so didn't play, blah, blah, blah. Like if like Coach Prime said this week, he previewed it because he knew that a lot of online fans are going to be mad at who plays on Saturday. So when that player doesn't play, you know why. And he gave you the reason. So there's no questioning that of why did certain player not play. Okay. That is what's going to happen tomorrow. We're going to find that out very quickly. Could it affect the team? Absolutely. Dave, I know that we're going to talk about this. I talked about it earlier today. The injury list has severely changed, and we know why now. It has been confirmed. Multiple outlets, multiple people, which, by the way, other teams in the Big 12 as well have had this happen overnight, where they're injury list, because Oklahoma State, I guess, had the same thing happen on their list. And people from their fandom was like, did everybody magically heal overnight? Why is the out list going from such a large thing to such a low thing? What I think happened, Dave, I think that the teams either were contacted by the Big 12 or reached out to the Big 12 to ask how this injury report is supposed to work. Yeah. Remember, this is the first year of an official injury report to be released. So what did teams do to comply with this new rule? They were very thorough when it came to the out list, and they listed every injured player on it, except for Utah. Utah has not been listing their out for the season players on their injury report, which is why Utah's injury list has been so small. So my guess is the team probably saw that, went and reached out to the Big 12, said, hey, do we have to list every player on our roster that's not playing in this game as out every single week? Or if they're out or no longer with the program, do we need to can we take them off the injury report? And that is exactly what we saw happen. The players who got removed from the injury list are players that have been on the injury list all season long, are guys like Terrence Love, who left the program multiple weeks ago. Now it's come out that it's pretty much been confirmed that Samuel Okunlola is also no longer going to be with the program, which is not a shocker, Dave. It's not a shocker. London Merritt.
Disappointing.
London Merritt and Alex McPherson took his job. They did. They took his job. And whether or not that was initially an injury, Dave, that started it, or whether it was, from the get-go, he lost his starting spot to those guys, and we just don't know. We don't have that information. We're not privy to that. The fact is that the injury list for Colorado has shrunk massively because a majority of those guys on that out list are either out for the season or no longer coming back with this program. So now the best part about this, Dave, we get to speculate about who's not coming back to the program and who's just injured. I will say, the one player I know for a fact is injured because we see him every week on Well Off, and he's wearing a massive boot. That's DeKalon Taylor, track hawk. He started wearing a boot a couple weeks in the season. So did Simeon Price. Simeon Price is out of the boot now and at least practicing. So I do think that's why he's listed as out, is because they're waiting for him to come back. But DeKalon Taylor is now off of the out list simply because I think he is out for the season. Now, the question is, can he get medical red shirt to potentially come back for one more year? That's going to be interesting to see if he's able to get that to happen. But it makes sense with who's on this list, Dave, because these are guys that have played and played well for Colorado this year, except for Aki Ogunbiyi, but he's also very young. So the question is, okay, is that what we're seeing on this list? Are these guys that are going to be able to come back at some point?
Yeah, this is interesting, man, because I would imagine, of course, Samuel Okunloa taken off this list. He's, Adam Munster Tiger put that out that he's likely, pretty much gone, man. That's what we've assumed. You just talked about that. There's some other interesting names that went off of this list. You mentioned DeKalon Taylor. If he's still in that boot, maybe he's more so out for the year, but got some questions, about guys like TJ Branch, Jack Hystera, Cooper Lovelace. So some of these guys that we haven't, in terms of TJ Branch, we've all been excited for, but we haven't seen him on the field this year. Yeah, I don't necessarily know how to take that, but I'm thrilled to see that guys like Hakeem Williams and Yo-Yo are still listed as out, because that means that they're expecting to see them later this year, I suppose. But any other thoughts on some of these names that we saw disappear?
I mean, and some of it makes sense, Dave, because it's their last year of eligibility. So if they're missing a large chunk of time due to injury and they have a last year of eligibility, can we get a medical red shirt for them in order for them to get one more year of eligibility so they can come back and at least try to be healthy? Because if you're only going to come back for a couple games in your final year, that's not going to help you at this point with only that 1 year. So that's where I thought, Dave, that Hystera, Lovelace, those are guys that made sense, that they're probably, at least getting medical red shirt. That's why they're sitting out. Now, the question is, do they transfer? Do they try and come back to Colorado? Would they be allowed to come back to Colorado? I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be the case. The only one that I want to pay attention to that I'm hoping is an injury/red shirt because he's a freshman is TJ Branch. I think TJ Branch has a very, very good shot of, being a part of this team long term. He is lining up in that safety spot next year, guaranteed. If I'm being honest, I believe, is Carter Stoutmeyer in his final year? Is he out of eligibility?
Year, but it hasn't been good this year. It has not been good this year.
It's been on and off for sure.
Aside from Byard.
Yeah, and Byard has another year of eligibility, guys. I mean, I hope people realize that as well. There's a lot of players in this team that are effective this year that have eligibility. A lot of people in my chat on a regular basis talk about all the players that are graduating and without, eligibility left. The fact is, Dave, most of the people that don't have eligibility either have somebody who's probably going to be better than them coming up through the development, or are not one of the impactful starters on this team. Like, the only players that we're going to lose, Dave, that are truly impactful come on the offensive line, in your Xavier Hill, in your Zy Chrysler. Those guys, they're done after this year, and they've had an absolute great impact on this team this year, so they will need to be replaced. But other than that, I mean, tell me, who are players that are in their final year of eligibility that, we can't replace either with a decent transfer or with a younger guy who's moving up into that position, next year? I can't really name anybody. Last year we lost Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, extremely hard to replace. I can't name anybody this year. maybe outside those two offensive linemen that are going to be that hard to replace. I don't think it's as big of a deal as people want to make it out that we're losing 36 seniors this year.
Well, maybe these 36 seniors can change the narrative. But yeah, like I won't be too sad to see a lot of them go if we fail to reach a bowl game this year. That's just how I feel about it. So
yeah.
And again, you guys are making the points in the chat. This is why you really invest more so in high school recruiting, man. Especially with how you've seen the leaders and some of the best players on this year's team be underclassmen that were recruited out of high school. I would love to see us continue to grow in that. 25 recruits I think would be incredible, but also you got to make sure that the guys that you're bringing in, they're staying.
Yep.
I was thinking earlier today of just some of the other guys that could have been really helpful. A guy like Jaden Milner-Jones, that could have helped out this secondary with all the injuries that we've had. Or, like you brought up TJ Branch. That would suck. That would suck losing him. But, of course, I guess all these guys, they're somewhat replaceable, but it's a lot easier to build a culture of accountability and leadership when these guys come in here from high school, understanding the expectation and learning that at 18 years old, not transferring in here after one conversation or two, which I think a lot of times these guys have transferred in from losing programs, and that's not a good mix.
No, it's not. And I mean, Dave, this is going to be a very interesting offseason. I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, and we talked about it a little bit on the bye week, but one portal. You got one portal this year. Okay? One portal. You got a lot of teams looking for coaches, Dave, that are going to have a lot of guys transfer out. Okay? Because I really want to see how this is going to affect the transfer portal. With the transfer portal only happening once, with it happening in the middle of bowl season, essentially, or the playoffs, what are these coaches going to do? You've already got this happening with what I presume is Lane Kiffin going to take the Florida job. Like, that's the rumor going around, like, to the point that Lane Kiffin actually had to address his players this week, but also didn't come out straight up and say, no, I'm not going to Florida. Like, it's some interesting stuff. And then the Penn State job, who's going to be taking that? The quote unquote favorite for that one could potentially Matt Rule be abandoning Nebraska to go to Penn State. Like, that's going to be insane. And then after those two jobs, what happens to the rest of the jobs that are out there available? They'll kind of fill in late. So those programs are going to be in shambles at least for another year, because they're going to be hard up to get those high school recruits and to get the transfer portal players. So I if I'm being honest, Dave, this might be one of the best transfer portal classes in the history of the transfer portal. We could very well see one of the biggest, most impactful transfer portals. And the question is, can Coach Prime hit that really importantly and hit the important spots? We don't need to go after all these impact players. We need to spend our money wisely on a few impactful players. At least one or two offensive linemen that are very impactful. Interior defensive line is where we need to get, okay? For everybody out there that wants to be like, oh, high school recruit there, you can't do that for the interior as much as you think you can, okay? Those guys take years to develop. Edges, we're finding we're pretty good at recruiting edges with Alexander McPherson, London Merritt. I could see where we go with that. Linebacker is another really important one, Dave, that I don't think that we have necessarily the starting linebackers, being developed. Kylan Salter could be one of those guys, but how do we replace, what we have right now and get better? Because that one's not good. And then cornerbacks, we are going to need ready to go cornerbacks. And I'm sorry, but true freshmen are not going to start at cornerback and be able to dominate next year. We need some guys there. So those are positions where I could see Colorado really spending the big bucks on when it comes to transfers for Colorado this offseason.
Yeah, man. Yeah, give me some linebackers. Give me some trench players. We'll have, I think, 4 new starters on the offensive line, but I think that we'll be able to bring some of our backup players in to graduate up to some of those starting positions.
You hope. Yeah.
Maybe you only need to go get 2 transfers on the offensive line this year instead of 4. That's what my hope would be. Or maybe, yeah, if Cooper Lovelace is back, he can take on that spot. So I know they like Yo-Yo there at center too, but he might be fine at guard as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, like I want us to have like a real difference maker at linebacker. Of course, the interior line just has not had kind of that same attitude that it had last year. Yeah, I'm disappointed by that. I really am. It's going to
Yeah.
be interesting to see if Jaheim Otis comes back or not, or I guess we're out of Amari McNeil. It's really going to be Brandon Davis Swain, maybe Tafik Thomas. You know, their show moving forward. But I got this question for you, Russ.
Yep.
With how Chidozie came in on Monday, do you wonder if there's a possibility that he could be back here, you know, as like a GA or something like that?
I mean,
point?
Absolutely, if he wants to be, but that's if his playing career is done. You know,
Yeah.
I still think maybe at minimum he goes XFL this spring, and tries to, you know, show what he can do. He's a great candidate for that because I mean, look at him when he talked to the team. Like, he's got the size still. He looks in shape. He looks good to go. The fact that that dude is not playing football somewhere, at least in the Canadian Football League, it's either by choice or something completely different. It's just the whole Chidozie thing, by the way, from last year just doesn't make sense to me. The fact that he wasn't able to get at least a practice squad spot on an NFL team, something's going on elsewhere outside of that, because that dude can play. I mean, I'm still shocked by that. But if he's, you know, been told, or maybe he just doesn't have the drive anymore, Dave, that he just doesn't want to play, I don't know. Can't speak for him.
I just think they don't like 5'10" defensive linemen. Like, I think that's as simple as it is. You know, he could be bigger than his size, but I like the NFL will write somebody off based on those measurables.
Yeah.
Quicker than anybody else. So I really feel like that's probably the issue.
Yeah, no. I mean, it very well could be. And if that's the case and he's been told that, you're pretty much not going to have a chance. Maybe then that's why he's not like going the other routes, because he's like, why even try going those routes and waste my time, you know, to get nowhere. And so maybe it is now him starting to realize, you know what? I can teach these guys. I can figure that out. He's absolutely, though, GA material, Dave.
Yeah.
I mean, 100%. Put him up, give him a little bit of money. Give him that master's degree, put him on staff, start teaching him young, you know, help him get a job maybe somewhere else at a higher level than the GA eventually, and just have him in a back pocket to eventually come in, you know, some years down the road. I think it'll be a while before that happens, but Coach Prime is very good at, you know, helping his kids out in any way possible. And I could easily see him helping him out, starting out here, and then also trying to get him somewhere else, you know, maybe at an FCS school, an HBCU, whatever that may be, to start coaching defensive linemen to get to start his career as a coach. Yeah. Maybe that's something that he ends up doing.
I think that's always really cool, man, when former players then, you know, transition to coaching for their coach or for their former program. I would love it. I would love to have some more Buffs, and I would count, even though he's only here 1 year, I would count Chidozie as a legacy Buff. He did finish his career with the Buffs. We did go to a bowl game, 9-4, one of our best seasons we've had in quite a while. So, and it's very clear that he cares deeply about this program. So, yeah, I would love to see some more GAs, you know, be former Buffs players. I think that would be cool. Russ, shall we get into today's sponsor? Are you good to go, man? Shall we talk about Colorado area Taco Bells?
As always, we've got to talk about Taco Bell. They are the sponsor for David Talks Buffs and Buffs News Weekly. Absolute fantastic sponsor that we have here. So excited and happy to have them as a sponsor. They want us to talk, of course, about the Chicken Cantina menu, Dave. And oh man, is it something that you guys should go check out. I know that there's been plenty of people here that have complained at times about us sponsored by Taco Bell, because they're like, well, Taco Bell is not good food. What is this? One, that's completely like horrendous because there's no way you can tell me you don't like Taco Bell. And if you don't, have you tried the Chicken Cantina menu? Because it is fresh ingredients, it is shredded chicken, it is melted cheese on the outside that's then, fried. Absolutely love it. So go to any Taco Bell, not just local ones. Okay, that's the best part about this ad read. Okay, the Chicken Cantina menu. Flavorful chicken, slow roasted, perfectly seasoned, Mexican spices, garlic, onions, variety of chilies. Absolutely love the flavor of the Chicken Cantina menu. Additional premium ingredients, like I said, you could do the Cantina taco, the Cantina quesadilla, or one of their burritos. Absolutely love it. And then if you're in the Denver area, what my favorite thing in the world, Dave, my favorite thing in the world is getting messages from people that showed me them getting their buff box when they came to a CU game.
Beautiful.
Okay. Absolutely love when the viewers send me those videos, send me those pictures saying, hey, I got the buff box. Fantastic. What a value. I'm spending all this money on tickets and parking. Hey, $7 for a meal while you're doing this. That's going to help you save some cash. And I have to say, it is an absolute wonderful value at Taco Bell. And of course, lastly, Taco Bell is also supporting CU athletics by donating $1,000 to the Golden Buffalo Scholarship Foundation for every CU touchdown scored. Buffs love the bell. Liv Moss, Sco Buffs, absolutely love the partnership.
Oh my God.
Desert Devil, thank you. Thank you.
You sold it, man. You sold it. And guys, I guess you won't be going to the game in Boulder this weekend, but here coming up soon for the next home game. Just right over there off is it Baseline and Broadway right there as you're
right. It's very close to the
dude.
stadium. It is walkable to get to your Taco Bell.
Yeah, come on, Taco Bell right there, man. Taco Bell right there. Pick up a Buffs box before you go and tailgate, or pick up a Buffs box for your tailgate. Rather, sounds like a lot of fun. So. Russ, let's get into some of our keys to the game. I know we've talked about it a little bit to start the show, but maybe we can talk a little bit about what we're hoping to see. Colorado, Utah opened up at minus 14.5. I looked at some different sports books. You can either get minus 13.5 or like on ESPN Bet, I think it's like minus 12.5. So it is changing a little bit.
It's moving a little bit.
Yeah. But right now, let's, give me a few players in which need to perform well. And what do we got to get from them in order to get this upset against Utah?
Yeah. I mean, I absolutely love the line, by the way. I think that is, had it been Utah from a couple weeks ago, healthy Dampier in Utah, I could have seen the 14.5 that it opened at, 13.5 that sits now. I think now that's a little bit, I think that's a little bit strong on the Utah end. Could Utah still win this game? Yes. I don't think it's going to be that big of a victory unless it's like a trash touchdown similar to a couple weeks ago where, the game was close the whole way and then right at the last second the team covers. Okay. So impact players for me, Dave, and who I think we need to look out for on the Buffs. I'm going to call it right now. I'm going to say running back is going to be an extremely important position this Saturday night. So my impact player of the game is going to be one Dallin Hayden. I am praying to the football gods, Dave, that we finally get a 100-yard rusher for Colorado. Every week we're going to talk about this. Every week.
Yes.
Running back by committee has been working. It's been working, Dave. It's been getting better and better each week. But I'm still waiting for that one running back to separate himself and have a big game for Colorado. We've been waiting for that for a while. Can we get a 100-yard rusher? I think we can, and I think it's going to be Dallin Hayden this Saturday night. Dave, what say you?
Oh, beautiful, beautiful prediction, man. Dallin Hayden, if he's the star of the show, we have a wonderful opportunity to play spoiler tomorrow night. The guy that I was going to go with was actually also out of the running back room. He's who I put in my thumbnail, and that's Draylon Miller, man. I think he's off the injury report, right? So we should be getting him back. I think him and Dallin Hayden will be a nice 1-2. Last time Draylon played against Utah, tore him up. I think he might have had multiple touchdowns. He at least had one. So why not build off of that performance? He's somebody that from last year's team, again, remembers physically dominating, part of that physical domination of Utah. They're going to be tougher. They're going to be tougher this weekend, but Draylon brought it last time. Let's have him have a legacy game, man. And if we get 2 legacy games between Dallin Hayden and Draylon Miller, remember, Utah gives up over 150 rushing yards a game. You can run against them. The problem is that many teams haven't been able to stop them from scoring. They got to play catch up. We're able to keep it close and run the ball, man. I do like our chances. But that's a big if. Let's talk about defense, though, man. How the heck are we limiting this Utah offense that's averaging 37 points a game right now?
It's going to start in the run game. It's going to be 100% the run game. Can Colorado stop the run, force the pass? You heard BYU after that game, their defensive back that got interviewed on the field after they beat Utah. What did he say? Utah's passing game is pedestrian. It is very basic. They don't have much going on. You know, you can easily break down the system. So the key to the victory against Utah is always going to be, can we force them to pass the ball? Can we force them into 2nd and 3rd and long where running the ball is not going to matter? Can we spy the quarterback, for the love of God, and not allow a 3rd and 17 conversion? That's the big question. So the players that are going to have to step up for this are the linebacker room. And I'm hoping, Dave, that the person that's going to step up, I hope the person that's going to get a lot of play time, I hope, and I'm gonna go out of the way. SOB's getting close, but I'm gonna go off the board a little bit. Kylan Salter, I think, is going to have a big, impactful game for Colorado against Utah. I like what I see. I'm hoping they play him a little bit more coming out of the bye week. I hope he can go in and make some big plays on the defensive side of the ball. He is who I would love to see have an impactful game for Colorado. And if Kylan Salter has his career game at linebacker, Colorado is going to win this game.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is exciting. What about having an MVP of the game on defense come from the linebacker position? That would be substantial. And yeah, if Dampier's a little banged up, maybe a couple hits from Kylan Salter limits his ability on the ground a little bit moving forward. Interesting. So you're feeling like we're going to see more of him this week?
I'm hoping. I've liked what I've seen so far from him when he's took the field. If I remember right, I think he's been playing a lot more and more as each week's kind of gone on, and he's definitely been featured a little bit more. I mean, if I'm being honest, I think that Reginald Hughes and Martavius French are slowly playing themselves out of the lineup as JB starts playing more and doing well. Kylan Salter starts doing well and better. Mayers has looked good whenever he's played in limited. I hope that Colorado is playing one of those 3 over Martavius French and Reginald Hughes. I think Kylan has the most upside in that linebacker room right now. And so I do hope that he gets a chance to shine, and I hope that he comes out and balls against a Utah team that we are going to need to be very good in that linebacker room on Saturday night.
Dude, I love it. Well, with this Utah offense, we're going to need to stay disciplined on the edge.
Yes.
So a guy that can be disruptive from that position is true freshman London Merritt. He's my guy to watch on defense. I thought he had a fantastic game against Iowa State. And as the season's gone on, I feel like he's gotten more impactful, more disruptive. And what better way to I don't know, just kind of like tell everybody that you're arrived by having a big game, maybe making a big play to turn the ball over in Salt Lake City. Like these young guys, Russ, I don't feel like they're scared of anything, man, because they don't know any better, man. And we just upset the number 22 team in the country. Why can't we go in there and get another upset, right?
Yeah, no. And Dave, I mean, they are the future of this program. Jordan Seaton was the franchise. He was the future of where this program was heading. Next year will be his big year. But these two are the cornerstones to this team going forward. It is those two, and it is Julian Lewis. That is the future of this team. That is why I'm amped for the future of this team. No matter what happens this season, Dave, I am super excited for what the future holds, and it starts with those guys and what they're able to accomplish. True freshmen as edge players is just absolutely crazy, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
True freshmen at receiver, running back, heck, even nowadays, quarterback can even show up and be pretty darn good. But you don't hear about edges dominating the way that London Merritt has been, and at times Alex McPherson has. I saw that somebody had out a list of their most impactful true freshmen in the country, and they left London Merritt off, and I was absolutely shocked. It is absolutely atrocious that they did that. I mean, you look at the tape, you look at the grades, everything says that London Merritt is balling out if you watch this team, and to not have him on your mid-season true freshman best players list is absolutely atrocious, and just shows me that you're not paying attention to Colorado football at all, because you cannot tell me that you don't watch that kid and say, oh my gosh, this kid is going to be special for this team. And guys, we stole him from Ohio State. It is possible for this team to get big guys. And hey, I want to say, Dave, so many people have talked and said and called out this defensive line staff. I hear all the time how we're missing Des Moines, all of our old coaches. Damian Lewis, we're missing, all of those guys. And yet this group recruited London Merritt, Alex McPherson, brought them in, developed them, made them ready to go. And they've slowly transitioned into bigger roles on this defense. And they've absolutely answered the call, Dave. They've absolutely answered the call. I love it.
Yeah, the jumps that they're going to take into their sophomore season, man, it's going to be really exciting.
Another whole offseason. Oh, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, cornerstones of the defense, no doubt about it. Well, I guess we can get into it. Colorado is minus 13.5 coming into this matchup. I think Utah's given up around 16 points a game. How do you see this one going, Russ? Are you going with a Buffs win? Are you going with the Buffs loss? Let me know.
I mean, Dave, I've got to continue the optimism. Okay, I think you and I have a good yin yang going when it comes to our view of the team right now. It works nicely. We're getting you along. I think the Iowa State win helped. Yes. Okay, I think if Colorado can pull the upset against Utah, Dave's back on board with saying that this Buffs team is back. But I mean, I'm gonna think it's gonna be a close game, Dave. It is, and I want to believe in my heart of hearts, in my ever optimistic feelings, that Caden Salter can figure it out and continue what he did against ISU. He can figure it out after coming out of the bye. He can hopefully have watched the tape, watched the BYU game, watched what Utah is susceptible to. They are susceptible to a number of schemes and plays. I'm going to go, Dave, Colorado 30, Utah 27. I'm going to go 3-point victory. By the way, Utah's kicking game is struggling at times this year, Dave. They are struggling. So I think that could play a part into this game. I think Colorado can somehow eke out the upset with Utah and put this season back on track.
Dude, I love it. I need more of that, man. Now, I've thought, I'm pretty superstitious, man. So I'm gonna be doing the live game stream again, as I've been doing the last week, because we've played a lot better, and we've never really fallen down 2 scores until the end of that game against TCU, right? Because I always say I'm streaming until we're down 2 scores, and then we gave it up right there against TCU. But hey, they've kept me streaming the entire games, the last 2 games. Good efforts. That's what I want to see. But I didn't pick us to beat Iowa State. Was very happy we played our best football. Part of me wants to pick the Buffs, but I ain't. I'm going Utah right now, 27, Colorado 18. Gonna be a weird score, man.
Okay.
We'll see if this offense can get it going. If they can get it going more consistently, then yes. But as much as I want to believe right now, the only thing I can believe is that this team will cover. They're good enough to cover, and they are good enough for the upset. But I can't fully trust it yet. I can't fully trust it yet.
You're not even giving them their point average because, I mean, Caden Salter's always good for 3 touchdowns, no matter what.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll go 27-21. How about that?
Oh, like that. Okay,
yeah.
27-21.
How about 6 points?
We'll hit that 3 touchdowns that, for whatever reason, Caden Salter can always hit.
Always good for 3 touchdowns. But yeah, if we win the turnover battle, man, this is where things could get really, really interesting. But yeah, like, I'm gonna keep up this superstitious pattern that I've had of streaming through the games, and we've performed better, from game 1 to game 2. Now let's see how we do on here on game 3, man. That's how I'm feeling, man.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, Dave. It's going to be interesting. Another late night. So I assume that we'll be post game at like 12:30 at night again tomorrow night.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's gonna be late. Y'all get your coffee. Man, I love the shiny dude, man. Can't take this dude Davey seriously. You ain't no real Buff dude. Yeah, man. Yeah, you tell that right to the degree, man. Yeah, kiss my ass. I'm gonna tell you how I feel about it, shiny king, shiny king. Come on. But
love it.
Going to be room for the Buffs, man.
Everybody, always in the comments right now. Call out Dave. That's what you
do. Call me a fake fan. It's it's all good. I understand, man. But I'm doing y'all a disservice if I'm not giving you how I feel, man. So
massive upset if we win. Okay, guys. Dave. I mean, if would you be honest? This is a bigger upset than beating Iowa State last 2 weeks ago.
I think so, man. I think so, man.
I mean, and the fact is that, I mean, Utah's what? They're not ranked right now.
This is on the road, man. This is on the road. And I guess what's good is that, hey, like at TCU, we got off to a nice start on the road. We just completely folded.
Yep.
So, yeah. Can we do it differently now that we've had that experience?
I want to see us for once do what we've been doing. I mean, because we've had great starts in multiple weeks, Dave. I mean, 3 straight weeks of great starts to games and then complete collapse. I mean, heck, even the Iowa State game, you start off pretty darn good and, looking okay. Keeping it, though, way too close when we could have, stomped our foot on the neck of the other team, and we let them hang around for way too long. Can we do it? Can we do it? I think we can, but I finally want to see it happen. I mean, Caden Salter, for the love of God, please put in a full entire game performance from start to finish.
Because here's where I'm at with Caden Salter, man. I have not once talked about going to a new quarterback the last 2 weeks because of how he played against Iowa State. Now, if he plays well, regardless of what the result is, if he plays well and he's not the reason we lose, right? I ain't going to be talking about replacing him. But he has the opportunity to be one of the main reasons that we win if we win this football game, right? Especially if he decides to be a factor with his legs, which I think could be really, really helpful in terms of just taking pressure off of our running backs.
And opening up the pass game.
Yeah.
I mean, if they have to spy him the whole game or they have to spy him for a majority of the game, that should open up some players to be open in the passing game as well.
But, man, if we can get to 4-4, that would just be fantastic.
Oh, we get to 4-4. I mean, no offense to any of the rest of the teams on the schedule. This is the toughest opponent we have remaining. I know ASU is on that schedule, and I will give my props to ASU. But ASU has been so up and down this year that you have no idea which ASU you're going to get. They're missing Jordan Tyson this week. They're running into some injury issues big time.
Hopefully we get Jeff Sims.
Sam Leavitt has had some injury issues. I mean, unfortunately, ASU went from this team that was just steamrolling, looking like a playoff contender for another year, to, running into some injury issues, running into some consistency issues. And so, Dave, between them, between Arizona, between West Virginia and what's going on over there, between Kansas State and what's going on over there, we've got some very winnable games to finish out the season. This is going to be one of the biggest tests that we have the rest of the season. And if we somehow win this, If we somehow win this on the road in Utah, whatever we did to win this game, Dave, is going to get us a win in all those other games as well, if we can bring that game to all of those other ones. So that is why this game is so important for the Buffs.
That moment at the end of the game against Iowa State, it's what, 3rd and 17? And I'm like, man, you run this ball and you pray to God the defense could come up with another stop, right?
Yep.
You punt it and see if they can come up with another stop. And Coach
you put your balls on the table in that moment.
They showed the confidence in Caden Salter, which I thought was very surprising. But he played a great game that entire way through. And they put the ball in his hands to go make a game-winning play. He sealed the deal. I think the thing to watch is that instilled confidence that happened 2 weeks ago. Is that carrying over? Did that build over this bye week and this week of preparation? Because if it has, absolutely. We absolutely are going to be in this game. And then maybe I'll stop. If we get to 4-4, man, all the
with 4 games left,
I'm not going to see this as a losing football team anymore.
I mean, with 4 games left, could we get to 8-4, Dave? Could we get to 8-4 if we get this victory on the road?
You leave the books alone. That's right. just be studying the film, right? If this very well could lead into him having his best performance. And let's just shock the world again. I feel like, again, all the pressure's on Utah.
It is. It absolutely is. We have no reason. And the way I say this, guys, just understand what my quote is saying. We have no reason to win this game. Like, Utah is still in the hunt for a Big 12 championship. Utah is coming off a very emotional loss to BYU and has a very tough game coming up against Cincinnati. They did not have the bye week to prep 2 weeks for this. We did. They are at home. Like, you add up everything, Dave, everything should go Utah's way. Yes. I would not be surprised if it did. And I wouldn't really fault the Buffs to an extent just because of how much is riding against us in this game. So if we can hang in there, if we can put up a fight, if we can somehow eke out a win, oh, baby. Guys, this is just the beginning, and things have taken a turn if that does occur.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish. But hopefully you don't finish the same way that you started. Because Caden Salter, man, if we get back to turnover-prone Caden Salter, I'm going to be right back there calling for a new quarterback, man. That's just how it's going to be. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be toxic. I just want to enjoy this football season, get to a bowl game. That's probably the Alamo Bowl, so I can go do it again, and hopefully we'll finally win it.
Yes.
Yeah. So
break the Alamo curse. That's what we're gonna have to print up T-shirts that say "Break the Alamo curse."
Yeah, but with how this team started this year, man, we're able to.
Mind you, when I say 8-4, I it's not that I'm saying I'm saying, guys, when you look at the schedule, this is our toughest test left. We have to win this to get to 8-4. You do that, 8-4 is looking a lot more realistic than it has probably since week 2, week 1 against Georgia Tech at this point.
Dude, I'm more worried about this game than I am ASU.
Exactly. This is a more tougher. I'm sorry if Sun Devil fan in the chat is still here.
Desert Devil
is Desert Devil here. I'm nothing against ASU guys, but this is our toughest opponent. Okay, this is our toughest opponent remaining on the schedule, and that is a fact. You do that, you're going to be able to compete in every single game the rest of the year, and should have a chance to win every single game the rest of the year.
Now, Russ, I got to ask you this. This is off topic, but people are talking about it. I know I saw it wrap up a minute ago, but I can't quit. Dude, if it's not going to be Colorado winning the Big 12 championship, they'll take nothing short of a miracle right now. Do you got a bandwagon team that you're rooting for?
I mean, I hate them, but I also just like watching them play, and I like Bear Bachmeier. BYU is just I like what they do. It reminds me of a lesser Georgia Tech. I mean, but I also do like the Cincinnati story, the turnaround of Cincinnati and, Sorsby at quarterback as well there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, somebody else in the chat put up Cincinnati BYU or Northside, Cincinnati BYU Big 12 championship game. I like that. I like that a lot. And I think I would actually enjoy watching that game severely. But Bachmeier, what he was able to do with his legs, but also in the air, like when he needed to, I definitely like what they have to bring to the table. Getting that win against Utah was absolutely massive towards their chances of getting to the Big 12 championship.
I'm definitely pulling for BYU right now too, man. And I just think, again, we've had a couple matchups now since we've been in the conference, and both Colorado, BYU, they are unorthodox with how they run their football programs, and I find that interesting, man. I like rooting for it. And even though, again, I think it's disgusting their quarterback wears number 47.
Yeah.
Why not, man? Why not? You got Tiger on the same team.
And to all the people like commenting like, oh, BYU is a fraud. They're doing enough. And on top of that, guys, you just don't get it. This is what I don't get about this country, by the way, and college football as a landscape, Dave. The Big 12 is the one league that any Saturday, anybody can win, unless your name is Oklahoma State.
Right.
Like, that is what we're dealing with here in this conference. And that's why I think the games are a lot closer. I mean, how many blowouts are we seeing on a weekly basis, Dave? Like, I just saw a post that said, like, the Big 12's ratings are in the tube. You know why the Big 12's ratings are in the tube? Is because these networks have this narrative that they have to push with the SEC and put them in the prime time slots. And they keep putting us in these late slots and on these, like, weird times and all this stuff. Like, if you go watch Big 12 football, it is competitive. The games are good each and every week. The teams are going back and forth. There's no blowouts. There's no dominant. Like it is just good football week in and week out. And so for people to say like BYU's a fraud, like BYU does what they have to do to win games.
Dude, they have just won football games, man. They're well coached. Man, they're tough. I don't see what's not to like. They got a great home environment as well. And how can you hate on a team that gives the opposing fans free ice cream? You just can't hate on it. The fact that they're able to get that lit in the crowd, completely sober. You got to give them respect, man.
Dave, 7-0 right now. I mean, it would have to take a colossal collapse for BYU to not be able to get into the Big 12 championship game. Cincinnati 6-1, they're undefeated in the conference. Arizona State 5-2, Texas Tech 6-1, undefeated in the conference.
Ooh, I feel like everybody
not undefeated in the conference, 3-1.
Tech, and they hate Utah, so that's where we all.
I don't get the love of Texas Tech. I don't get the love of Texas Tech. I truly don't. I mean, watching Texas Tech, Utah, I was like, I don't know. I just don't see it,
man. They're just good.
But you look at this, Dave. I mean, our remaining opponents: Kansas State, Arizona State. Yes, very good. Arizona, West Virginia, K-State. Like, it's very interesting when you see that. It's very interesting when you see that and what's coming up.
Yeah.
And I think, the big thing for me is BYU just has the play style to eke out close victories, Dave. They're a no-nonsense, adversity does not hit them the same way that it does other teams just because of their play style. They're that grind it out. It's another reason that I think Georgia Tech is going to make some noise here at the end of the season in their conference and potentially win the ACC. They're very similar teams to me, by the way. Yeah. I mean, Bachmeier and Haynes King are very similar quarterbacks to me, with Haynes King obviously being, a senior versus a freshman, but they really, really remind me of each other in what they're doing, and they're both just as successful this season in how they're winning games.
Yeah, man. Big 12, it's been great football again this year. And I'm thankful we got, 5 more games left? Then hopefully we'll get to a bowl game. Russ, I appreciate you joining me on the Buff Blitz. I'm glad we were able to make it work. Guys, we'll be back next Wednesday night, right? Are you free next Wednesday night?
We'll be back next Wednesday night. We'll be back at our normal time to preview, Arizona next week? Is it Arizona next week?
Yeah, and dude, I hate Arizona. I hate Arizona. And like some of their like shittiest teams have like come in and like just upset us this should be a
Yes.
game though that we win.
Yes.
Absolutely. We have made some of their worst quarterbacks have the best games of their career, man. That ain't gonna happen next week. No, no, no. But yeah, Russ, let us know what you got going on your channel. For everyone watching on my channel, please go subscribe to Buffs News Weekly. Link is in the description.
Yeah, I mean, Monday we'll have our either Crash Out Monday or Victory Monday. Had no callers this week, so very quiet on the bye week. I expect that to be completely different on
Oh
Monday.
yeah,
Getting those voices. I mean, if we win, it's gonna be hype city. If we lose, I better hear those Crash Out phone calls coming in on Monday afternoon. Obviously, Buff Blitz with you. I'm also gonna just start doing a lunch stream on Fridays. Just because Friday is so open. I did that today, just a really quick 30-minute lunch stream for everybody if you guys want to catch me on Friday. And we've got a lot of fun stuff coming up, Dave. It's gonna be a fun off season. I can already tell. It is going to be an action-packed, news crazy off season for the Buffs, and I cannot wait to see what happens. And I cannot wait to see some of the fans be surprised about what's going to happen this off season because they just have so many opinions when it comes to how you build a roster. And I think Colorado's about to build a very good roster for Julian Lewis's first year next year.
Well, let's go. Hopefully, we save some of that money to spend this this next year, man. I'm hoping we got some in the bank and more on the way because it's time for us to start making some more noise. Russ, again, thank you, guys. I'm gonna keep this superstitious thing going. We've gotten better every week. I've done this play-by-play reaction. So I'm going to be doing it for tomorrow night's game until we're down 2 scores. That's what's going to be in the title. And right now I've streamed both games in full. So
yep,
that's a great sign. I'll be back doing that. Outside of that, thank you everybody in the comments, man. I'm gonna be streaming the whole game. Hopefully that's gonna be the plan. And yeah, let's get this upset win. Cool. We'll shut it down. Y'all have a wonderful Friday evening. Enjoy the World Series. Let's go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.